This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Recovery Cafe.
Thanks to smartphones, games and apps are at our fingertips pretty much all the time, including those that fall into the social casino category. But are they gambling? I spoke with Keith Whyte of the National Council on Problem Gambling and journalist Nate Halverson to find out.
Well, social casino is a very interesting term. They're facsimiles of casino games, so slots, blackjack, poker, that arguably do not meet the legal definitions of gambling. Because they temporarily may exclude prize, chance, or consideration. So these are gambling games, essentially, that if you temporarily remove a prize or if you make it free to play to start with, you can play these gambling games, but they're not regulated or legalized as gambling. And it's an explosive market. So in 2019, globally, the amount people lost playing these free-to-play games was over $5 billion, about $3.5 billion of that from the U.S.
How do you lose money at a free-to-play game?
This is the trick, because they often may start free-to-play. Maybe you get a day's worth of free credits or a couple hundred free credits, but then as you play the game, you go through those free credits incredibly quickly, and then you get a monetization window, and it's very aggressive monetization. Then you have to buy these free chips or free credits to continue playing, to maintain your progress in the game, to save your levels. And the monetization can be hundreds of dollars. You can buy trillions of chips for hundreds or even thousands of dollars.
That's amazing. Nate, tell me a little bit about what these virtual versions of games are really like. They're on apps, they're on websites, etc., and they're accessible to anybody, correct?
Yeah, pretty much anybody can download them. They can have them in their pocket. It's like having a casino in your pocket anytime you want.
Okay, so what are the problems with this? What are some of the health problems and social problems that result from this kind of Wild West environment where social casinos exist?
Well, Margaret, as Nate said, the ease of download is one big problem. Because they're not classified as gambling games, they are able to be downloaded by virtually anybody. You don't even have to be 12 years old. Some of these games are even rated underneath T for teen. So access is one of the biggest problems because it is a gambling game. You can lose money. You can develop all the features of addiction. So access is one big thing. The lack of responsible gambling controls is another. So these same games, if offered in an online casino or an in-person casino, would have age limits, would have warning features, would have all sorts of barriers to protect against excessive or addictive behavior. Social casino games have all the same psychological and addictive features and none of the protections.
Nate, let me ask you about the Big Fish court decision, because I know a lot of people are familiar with seeing that name as, a purveyor of games.
So the court basically ruled that because people were paying to get these virtual chips, that the appellate court ruled that in fact it was gambling, and that these companies should be regulated as casino companies, which of course, if that were the case, would have a very chilling effect on their income. So they are strenuously fighting against that classification, and that lawsuit now is ongoing under sort of this, under the appellate ruling.
I think it shows that there was probably some pretty abusive behavior that would be revealed in court. Nate's reporting has shown just one person alone who lost more than $400,000 on a free-to-play social casino game. And two, I think it shows us that the revenue is so incredible that they're willing to spend in over $100 million in a settlement just to continue offering these games.
That speaks to what the money must look like altogether. Nate, one final question. I mean, how do people identify if they have a problem? If they're playing a game and they're spending $5 a month, not a big deal, right? How do we figure out when we're doing this and we may be developing a behavioral problem?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that according to the executives of these casino companies, they make 80–90% of their revenue not from somebody that's spending $5. They make it from 3%. 3% of players generate 80–90%. And they've now developed advanced, they're using artificial intelligence to target those specific players who, like Susie Kelly that I reported on, will spend $400,000. She didn't have $400,000 at a regular casino. Yeah, at a regular casino, there's something called Know Your Customer, KYC. they would have seen that she didn't have the income to be spending $400K. Further, she asked them nearly a dozen times to cut her off, told them she had a problem, that she couldn't stop spending. And what did they do? They just gave her free chips and encouraged her to keep spending. That wouldn't happen in a real casino. This is the Wild West. This is a lawless land.
That is crazy. Keith, what kind of help is available for people?
Well, the good news is that the gambling addiction is preventable and treatable. So when you look at the classic signs of addiction, social casino addicts can develop just the same gambling problems as others. You look at things like preoccupation with the game, which Susie had, abuse or tolerance to play more and more without being able to achieve the same excitement. And then, of course, harm. So she not only harmed herself, she harmed her family. She caused enormous devastation within her loved ones in her community. So when you do that, the good news is that there's hope and help available through the Washington State Council, the Evergreen Council on Problem Gambling. They run toll-free helpline, treatment services, referral. So it's a one-stop shopping for people or loved ones who feel that someone in their life may have a problem with gambling.
Thank you. We'll make sure everybody knows where to reach this help.
If you or anyone you know is looking for help with a gambling addiction, please visit the website on your screen, roadtorecoverys.org, or you can call or text the Washington State Problem Gambling Helpline 24/7. More New Day after this.